you had the appointment with the doctor and he explained that it was good?
Yeah, well, it's very good.
Okay.
The PSA, my PSA is very good as well every time we get them done. So the last time I was again, I think I had the thick socks and they were causing problems with my leg. So I had to take off those socks and put on a lighter one. But that's really good. The lighter one. Probably something for now.
They will come soon.
Yeah.
John from
Yeah.
I'll stop this then. When you meet with your doctor, do you have your doctor ever discussed about clinical trials? Do you know anything about clinical trials?
No, he never said anything. Never said anything about clinical trials. What do you mean clinical trials?
So you don't know what clinical trials are, or?
No, I don't.
Okay, so clinical trials are for drugs, for example, that are not yet standardized.
Oh, yeah.
So
quickly stop this beeping and I put it in the line, it'll flush.
Okay.
And we'll...
Oh dear.
Good? You're feeling good? Okay. So clinical trials are testing of drugs if they are working as good as the drugs that people are using now, those are that are standardized, or if they are doing better, they go to the next stage, next phase, and there are 3 phases. Phase 1 is they test with different type of cancers. Phase 2, they test it with a small number of cancers, and then phase 3 is when they test for a particular cancer, and if they're doing better than the drugs that are right now. So you haven't discussed anything about this with your doctor, or has
No,
he?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
He hasn't. It's up to him.
That means that the drugs that are now, treatments that are now, they're working for you.
They're working,
Yeah, that's good. Would you have wanted to participate in a clinical trial if you were given an option? It's okay to say no. There are people they don't want.
Yeah, but no, it might be better to say no, because I might walk into something that I did want.
Okay. It's totally understandable. Don't worry. And so you mentioned that besides exercise, you haven't discussed much anything besides, of course, treatment and the medical aspect. And exercise, you haven't discussed much about mental well-being here at the hospital.
No, I haven't, no. Well, I mean, I suppose they want to say that themselves. To me, I wouldn't know anything about it. They'd probably, it's up to them to say it.
Yeah. So, how did you feel when you first were diagnosed with prostate cancer?
How do I feel? I got an awful shock that I had this bloody thing, and I said, "Geez, am I gone for it? Am I going for it? You know what?" I said, no. I'm not talking rubbish. I'm going to get out of this and be positive. Just keep the old head up.
Yeah.
And so here I am now, thank God. Doing fine.
Yeah. And how has the diagnosis affect your mental well-being? How, compared to how you were before the diagnosis and now that you've gone through the journey?
I suppose the wife has been saying that I've been, she reminds me of this cancer, and I said, this is my cancer's talking, and this and that and the other. I said, I can't say nothing. So, so just keep on. I suppose I heard that say, keep on trucking, keep on being positive.
Yeah.
So here I am.
Would you have wanted to talk to a professional if that option was given to you?
I suppose.
Or would you have considered going to?
You probably would, yeah. Yeah, probably would, yeah.
Did people here mention anything about support groups or counselling or?
No, actually, no. Never told me what I could do and to watch myself or like that.
And would you consider going to a counsellor or support group now?
I probably would, maybe. I suppose I'm doing fine, but I mean, would it help me? I suppose I would, maybe. Yeah, probably would. I suppose. I hope I'm right saying that.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you had a friend who had a friend who had cancer. Do you talk to him? To that
I haven't
person?
talked to him, no, because I meant to ask him about it, but I haven't. Anytime I see him, I said, I never think about it, ring him or ask him who's this fella. So I probably, if I get a chance now again, I might think of it and find out how's he doing or is he still alive and all that.
Would you like to talk to other people who have gone through the same
diagnosis? Yeah, probably would, yeah.
With prostate cancer?
Yeah.
So maybe a good option should be support groups.
Support groups, yeah.
There is one center called ARC.
ARC?
Yeah. And they have support groups and other classes and trainings that might help you as well. I'm not a psychologist, but I've heard this from other patients, and for some of them it worked, for some of them not, because every patient is different, like every human is different. So, but you might ask, for example, your doctor or your nurse today or next time you have the appointment, and maybe they would talk you more about this stuff.
And ask me, yeah.
Maybe it helps also if you ask questions about such questions, because you know yourself better than any other person. So, and how has your lifestyle changed from before diagnosis to now?
Well, at the moment, it seems to be back to normal.
Okay, that's good.
I follow a football club over in the north side. I'm a member since 1962.
Oh, long time.
You weren't even born then.
No.
No, you're talking about 57, 8. I grew up right beside the ground, and I was only imagine out the door, down the road, and I was in the ground.
Yeah.
So I still followed them. I wasn't able to get to the matches when I got this play thing, because I wasn't able to drive. The wife wouldn't let me to drive. So, but now with the Lewis brings up right up beside the ground, I said it's grand. I can still drive. I still drive around. So I'm back fine.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's great. And how has the diagnosis affect your relationship with others? Relationship with your family, with your friends, neighbors, co-workers?
They're fine, but I suppose I was very That's probably the wife would tell you about. I was kind of very narky and